Welcome to Road America, the short version of the track in the touring car series. We are running the Hyundai. It's probably going to be one of the last few times I'm going to drive this car, to be fair. I am not all that comfortable with it. It is a great car, but it is quite annoying at the same time. It has frustrating quirks and things like that, and I just don't seem to really gel with this car all that much. So we're coming down to our first corner now. We did start in position 10. From round here now in third gear and accelerating out the other side. Everybody is getting a bit touchy-feely up in front. So this next corner is going to be quite interesting. Hopefully we... wow, that Audi absolutely sent it and the Golf went a bit funky. I wasn't expecting that. I expected a bit more carnage, a little bit more chaos and a bit more sandwiching. But that was definitely different and it worked out in our favour. So we are now in position 9, chasing down the Golf in front. This car does have a good bit of speed upon it. It's not the fastest. Well, it needs a bit more of a run, I reckon. Oh, what happened there? Anyway, braking down to third gear and turning in, accelerating out to the side, touching the brakes here, and getting the car to rotate around this corner and accelerating up the hill we go. Great thing about this, right now we do have a Golf up in front, so we're going to have a little bit of slipstream on our side, which really does benefit this car, and it does really start putting the hammer down. Maybe you could have adjusted the gear ratios ever so slightly to have a bit more top end of this car, but you see the way I've just passed that Golf, it's like it was standing still. Great thing about a bit of slipstream for this one. Coming around this corner now, you're braking at the 400 meter marker down to third gear and turning in. Coming down this hill, looking at the left hand side for just before the 100 meter marker down to third gear and turning in again. Now we're just got to try and catch up to this pack of cars up in front. We do have an Audi in our rear view mirror with a red bonnet, and they are going to be in the slipstream, which is never the best of things for that to happen because the Audi is a pretty quick car. So hopefully they're not going to be able to make a gain on us too early. They are really clawing us in right now, so braking on the left hand side just after the camera and down to third gear. A bit more carnage up in front. And thankfully we survived, although a little bit slow going into that corner. Coming around here now in third gear, the Audi is breathing all over me. Contact has been made from behind. So I'm going to keep on the left hand side, the right hand side of the track and have the inside line of the next corner, providing they don't actually manage to get past. The great thing about the slipstream is now we're side by side, we're going to be fighting each other's stream ever so slightly. Looking at for a 400 meter marker down to third gear and turning in. Thankfully the Audi did back out. I wasn't giving up. And away we go. Looking at the 100 meter board, braking down to third gear and turning in again. We are actually clawing in the cars up in front. We're in position 4 right now. 0.7 seconds away. So we are in the slipstream. So is the Audi behind. So we are going to be dragged forward whilst we're dragging the car behind us. Thankfully the car behind does have a 0.2 second penalty, so providing they stay behind, or if they do overtake, I'm right behind them, they won't be able to capitalise on the position if they gain it. Braking down the third gear here, turning in, another Audi meets the garden centre and goes off track. That takes corner a little bit wide and accelerate out the other side. That corner you can take wide sometimes. You're not on the fastest line going through there, but you do have a better exit, a little bit quicker exit. Sometimes that's all you need for this sort of run here. You see now we are closing the door on position 2, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get side by side. We're going to look for that move, braking at the 400 meter marker down to third gear, and they have surrendered that corner and did the old switcheroo almost on me, almost. We're going to be braking at the 100 meter marker. They are beside me, down to third gear, turning in. Contact is made. We are very close to each other. And out the other side we go. Nothing like a bit of leaning on each other to try and get through the corner. But thankfully we both survived. Now it's pretty much a drag race to the end of this run. And the Audi behind is trying to join the party. So hopefully we and the car to our right can work together and not let the Audi through. What on earth was that? What happened there? Anyway, braking down the third gear here, turning in, and we have that position back from the green Audi behind. Around this corner now, accelerating out the corner, and thankfully that Audi went off track, trying to accelerate a little bit too early, capitalise on that position, and it ultimately made them go to the garden centre and cut the lawn. Right, we have a little bit of breathing space now. The problem is position 1 is 4.7 seconds away, so I don't think I'm going to be able to pull them in there. But as long as I can keep the cars away behind me, and that's what really matters, I'm not going to find 5 seconds by the end of this race. Although they're only just there, really. Not too far away. It looks a lot closer than what it is in retrospect. You know, 5 seconds does seem like a lot of time, and then you look at where they are towards the track and like, well, they're only there. But it generally is quite a gap. Thankfully though, we're also creating quite a gap from position 3 with a 1.9 seconds behind me with a 0.2 second penalty. And hopefully position 3 and 4 will fight each other as they are side by side by the looks of it, and thus that will slow them down some more and keep us in a strong position. That's also considering that I don't go off the track myself. It's quite easy to go off the track. I know this track only has 4 corners, like, but it's still quite easy to carry just that tiny bit too much speed into a corner and you do go off track. Thankfully, the turn 1 you do have a nice run off. It is tarmacked, where the rest of the corners are not so nice, where they're made out of sinking grass or slidey grass. It depends what mood the game was in. But we have a player just quit the race. I don't recognize the name, so I don't think they was up around me area. Coming around here now in third gear, accelerating out the other side, and position 1 is at 5.4 seconds away now. They are breaking away from me slowly, but I'm also pulling back a little bit to try and conserve the tyres. I know on this last lap I'm going to go to minor wear, so I'm just being mindful of that. I am looking at the lap times to the cars behind, which are 2.4 seconds away right now. So as long as I keep and maintain a 2-ish second gap and maybe increase it a little bit, I'm not going to be under pressure from the car behind if they're not gaining, or, well, substantially gaining on me anyway. But they did get a few temps through there because they're now 2.1 seconds away. So power back down. Let's go, Hyundai. You can do this. We're on our last lap now, looking on the left hand side for the 400 meter marker, and we're going to be using that as our braking reference. Hard on the brakes, down the third gear, turning in, rub that curb and right, accelerating out the other side. Keep it to our left hand side, looking at the bottom of the hill for the 100 meter marker. We're going to be braking just before it, down the third gear, turning in about 75 miles per hour through here, and accelerating out the other side. Final straight to go. We are 0.049 seconds off our best lap. I think I could do better than our best lap already. That's not too bad, but there is improvements to be made. A 110, pretty comfortable with that. Still 2.4 seconds away. Looking up for the camera there, then just before the street light, braking down in third gear, turning in through here and accelerating out the other side, and then just a touch of the brakes here, and then accelerating up the hill we go. Right, we have minor wear on the front left hand tyre, so we've done well. We managed to keep these tyres and look after them, and we're going to cross the line in position 2. But before we start our next race, let's take a moment out to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good, Jeffrey Anderson, DMC Motorsport, Sigmatic, Daniel Adams, John Burns, AK47 and Uncle Boney. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. And if you're enjoying what you're watching here, hit that subscribe button down below. And let's get into the next race at Mugello. Now this race was very good and very competitive race, although it did have some quite frustrating moments. So I didn't qualify for this race. We start off in position 4. I think there's only 6 of us in this race in total, because we joined from a previous lobby into this one. Only a few of us got carried through. Right, so we're going to be looking at just after the 100 meter board, braking down the third gear here, turning in and then knock it into second gear and accelerating out the other side, keeping to the right hand side into third, just a touch of the brakes, go over the curb on the left hand side and try and keep your right hand wheels on the curb point, running on the curb on the right hand side, accelerating out the corner, maximizing as much of the track width as you can. Keep it to the right hand side here now. As soon as the darker part of the tarmac comes in, braking down to third gear, accelerating out the other side, over the curbs we go. And this track is more about maximizing the curbs as much as you can and making sure that you don't also go off track, but really getting on the curbs, getting over onto the green stuff and accelerating as early as possible, trying to get a maximum run out of each of the corners really is crucial at this track, and it really does make a huge difference. And if you can get behind someone along this straight as well, you don't need to be the fastest car, but if you can get behind someone, you really do make a difference down here. We are in position 5. We did lose a place to Sigmatic up in front, breaking at the 100-meter board down to third gear, then halfway around the corner down a second, accelerating out the other side, keep it to the right hand side, just a touch of the brakes here, and then over the curb we go on the left, over the curb we go on the right. Try and rub those sausages if you have soft nose suspension. I wouldn't advise it doing it if you have quite a stiff setup, it will bounce you off to oblivion. We're braking here at the darker part of the tarmac, and into third gear, round the corners we go, over the sausages some more, and usually you want to get onto this green on the left hand side. You see Sigmatic is trying to make a move on Sergeant, I can't see the name, Cobra up in front, braking down to third gear here, accelerating out the other side, bit of smoke from the cars up in front, so hopefully they keep battling some more, and that will be another position gained. We are in position 5. Position 6 is 0.8 seconds away, and we've really got to try and get our hammer down. It is, although not a lot of people in this race, it is quite competitive to be fair. So braking at the 100-meter marker, down to third gear, you can see the Audi absolutely sent it into that corner. I went to the back of Sergeant Cobra. Keep it to the right hand side. This corner is going to be very interesting. I'm going to take it as shallow as I can. Over the curves we go, accelerating out the other side. And thankfully we made that move on shaft at 68. Keeping on the right hand side here, just a touch of the brakes into third, over the curves we go. And I've got to try and get past Sergeant Cobra up in front, who is in the Link. Now the Link is actually very good for this track, it's very competitive. And it's quite really good at mid-range grunts, so it handles well, and the way it comes out of corners is very good. I think I might have the legs on this car, so hopefully in the straight runs like this I can claw back the time, get beside them and make that position work. Although I don't think this is the run to be able to do it on, as they are 0.4 seconds away, but they do have a 0.5 second penalty. So braking here at the 100-meter board, down to third gear, turning in. Did see the Audi coming across in the mirror, so I wanted to get out of the way as quickly as I could. I thought they was going to do a much bigger lunge than what they did. Over the curb on the left, over the curb on the right, a little bit too much over the curb. Oh dear me, 0.2 second penalty, crying out loud. Get squeezed by the Link on the left hand side. Come on buddy, give a bit of space, give a dog a bone. Coming around this corner now, contact has been made, and the Audi on my right side is also making a move. I'm going to be part of a sandwich here, so I'm going to back out, and Shaft absolutely sent it through there. Well, Shaft is off the track. So coming around here now, accelerating out the corner we go, and thankfully we're still alive, and so is Sergeant Cobra up in front. Right, we're going to have to try this again, and hopefully nobody joins the party. We've got to get past the Link up in front. So looking out for the 100-meter board, braking hard down to third gear, and then knocking it down a second. Round the corner we go and accelerating out the other side. Hopefully this car might handle the Link, I'm not too sure. I don't think it does. I think it's a bit funky, this car. It doesn't out-handle much, to be fair. Accelerating out the other side, we are right beside Sergeant Cobra up in front. Gonna have a look at the inside here, see if we can get in a last minute lunge. Side by side they turn in, and a bit of apex syndrome happens there, as well as I did a last minute dive. So a little bit of a racing incident there. Thankfully though, it didn't affect Sergeant Cobra too much. We lost a few attempts between both of us, but they managed to regain control, and I don't look like a complete idiot. But you know, sometimes you got to try and look for that move and make that move work. So I'm going to try again, going on the left hand side of the Link. We're going to have a much better run. Hopefully I can then get in front. Contact is made as they are squeezing me to the left hand side. Braking late, they brake a little bit later and managed to make it work. Well played. Well played. I've got to give credit where credit's due as they turn right into me. I don't think they've got a radar on, to be fair, because yeah, we was going in a straight line then and they turned right and I wasn't giving you that space. Anyway, gonna have to see if we can make another lunge up again up the inside and see what I mean. Yep. Okay, so that's the kind of game we're playing here, eh? Really, really defensive. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. Do you think it's overly defensive? Do you think I am sticking my nose where I shouldn't be sticking it and it's my own doing there? Or do you think something else? Let me know down in the comments below. Looking out at the rearview mirror, I have an Audi breathing all over me and I don't want that, so I'm going to keep to the right hand side of the track, have the inside line of the next corner, braking at the 100-meter board again, down to third gear and turning in. I want to really try and catch up to Sergeant Cobra up in front, because if I can't pass him cleanly, then I want to make sure that I can win the podium position by just being right up their back end and them not being able to get away. I mean, if they make a mistake, it'll also be kind of convenient to us as well, but, you know, wishful thinking and that. I do have a minor wear on my front left-hand tyre, so my front right-hand tyre is not going to be too far behind. We are near enough going to be on our last lap in a moment, so I really don't have much time to try and reel them back in up in front, while Shaft 68 is breathing all over me as well, but I do have a 1.3 second penalty. Thankfully, we have the slipstream from the car up in front. Shaft also has a slipstream from me up to a point, but they are pushing me to the right hand side so they can try and claw the slipstream of the car up in front, and I have nowhere really to go. Contact is made a little bit as we do get a little bit elbowy. Going around this corner now, managed to survive. Shaft is on my right hand side. We're getting very close again, but at the inside line on the next corner, actually making up ground up to Sergeant Cobra up in front. Over the curves we go, accelerating out the other side, and hopefully with this little bit of run we're going to have now, we can close that door a little bit further. Braking down the third gear here, over the curves we go, really trying to maximize those track limits. And accelerate out to the side. They are 0.4 seconds away. I have 2 corners to make this work. Got to close that door, get rid of that gap behind, get rid of Shaft that keeps banging into the back of me and pushing me on. Well, they've got off track, and so Sergeant Cobra, there we go. Thankfully 0.1 second away. Come on, they're squeezing me, and we crossed the line in position 3. Also, I do have a bit of crash cam footage from the first race, so let's take a look at what happened there. Going down the hill, we see the 2 Peugeots getting very close. One Peugeot goes over the front of the other, and that's pretty much what happened to them. Pretty rough, really, not going to lie. But by the looks of it, it didn't look like that Peugeot was over the front end of the other one. It just looked like they were very close racing. Let's take a look at this again. Contact there, and a touch over, and for some reason, it went over the front end of the Shell Peugeot. Surprisingly enough though, the Shell Peugeot waits for the other Peugeot, so credit where credit is due. Great racing overall, if they're especially sacrificing their position to let the other one regain control and come back onto the track. So yeah, gotta give credit where credit is due. Now this Audi, Lavorgo standing up the inside, contacted the Peugeot, and this white Audi comes flying in. And yeah, that's what happened there. That was really funky. It was the lightest of touches that sent the front end of the Audi into the wall and taken the car beside them with him. And that blobby car is going wherever they feel like it. But let's have a look at it from this angle now. Breaking into this corner now. And yeah, I think just everybody came together and a lot quicker than others expected. Final clip is where the Audi meets the Link, little bit of contact there, and just the slightest of touches absolutely wrecked each other. There's a little bit of funkiness going on there because it was a very, very light touch. Now before you all do run away, I have been donated a controller to be given away to a random channel member. Now this controller is out of box, it hasn't been used, it is like brand new, it's just the box has been opened. If you'd like to be part of the draw, you must become a channel member, so click that join button down below. And if you have any further questions, please ask down in the comment section down below as well. Thank you all for watching, see you all next time, goodbye.